spicy out today, isn't it?
It is. It's been hot for the entire week.
Yeah, it's supposed to get even warmer. I saw Thursday. I think it's supposed to be like in the 90s.
Oh boy, I've noticed this has been really annoying for some reason. Like over the past few weeks, like we've had some cool days, but like some really hot days, and the hot days always seem to fall on like the day we record the podcast, which is also the day that I do groceries. So like, I have to like go out into the heat and then like carry my groceries in the heat, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially if you got like anything frozen, you got to make sure you get that home.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Been a bit lame.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
What's been going on with you the last week?
Not a lot. I beat Dark Souls 2 on stream. I guess I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but maybe you don't even know about this. You're a fucking boomer, loser, piece of shit.
Wow, that is fucking rude.
Get over it. So I maybe you've heard of. Do you know Dark Souls?
I know. I've heard you talk about Dark Souls.
Yeah. So around this time last year, I put out a video talking about mastery in video games, what it means to like master a game, and what like game elements contribute to that, and like Dark Souls is a very like mastery focused kind of series.
Okay.
So. And I've only at that time I'd only ever beat Dark Souls 3. I had played the first Dark Souls. I had played Bloodborne and Sekiro, which are both made by the same company, but I hadn't beaten any of those. I'd only ever beaten Dark Souls 3, and I've beaten Dark Souls 3 like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been wanting to play through all of the games, and I felt like this was a good excuse. So like at the end of the video, I was like, oh, I'm gonna start doing this, series where I play through all of the games.
Yeah.
Which started last year, and I was really bad about doing it consistently. Like it took like 9 months for me to beat Dark Souls, and not because of like how tough it is, but because like I just didn't play it as often as I should have. There'd be like a month or two between streams.
Yeah,
but Dark Souls, the games are famously known for being difficult. Like they're the quintessential difficult games.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you talk about hard video games, they always get brought up. So they are tough. Dark Souls definitely took me a while to get through, but Dark Souls 2 is considered among the From Software library to be the black sheep.
Okay.
I think there's 6 total games right now. There's Dark Souls 1 through 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Demon's Souls. So that's 6. Dark Souls 2, all of these games, Demon's Souls came before Dark Souls, and it didn't do super hot in Japan. So they didn't like localize it for Western audiences. Mm-hmm. But then some other company came along and was like, this looks kind of cool. Let's just fucking localize it. And it was a massive hit in Western cultures. So Dark Souls ended up coming out, which was essentially a spiritual successor to Demon's Souls. So almost like Dark Souls 2 in its own right, but it's not. And it's it's now like the jewel in their crown, so to speak. Like From Software did all kinds of other games before this that were not like this at all.
Okay.
And Demon's Souls and Dark Souls were directed by this guy named Hidetaka Miyazaki. Not the Miyazaki who made the really famous Japanese movies. They're different Miyazakis.
Okay.
But Hidetaka Miyazaki made Demon's Souls. He made Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 is the only one of those games that is not directed by Miyazaki. And
okay.
And is largely considered to be the worst of the games.
All right. I mean, yeah.
So I finally beat Dark Souls 2. It took about 10 live streams, I think I counted out.
Okay.
And for a while now, like I started off doing Dark Souls 2 the same way I did Dark Souls. I like put a lot of like space in between streams instead of doing it consistently. And so I was finally like, I'm never going to get through these games at this rate. And especially like they have a new game coming out in January called Elden Ring that looks phenomenal. I'm super excited about it. So I want to play it as soon as possible. So I started playing the games weekly to get through them quicker. So I beat Dark Souls 2, and like I can now successfully say like after having beat Dark Souls 3 like 4 times, after having beat Dark Souls 1 just one time, and I absolutely love it. Dark Souls 2 fucking sucks.
Okay.
The one thing that like Dark Souls 2 gets like as a positive remark, mostly for people who are trying to defend the game, because it does have its fans. I have found, especially through like Twitch viewers, the opinions on Dark Souls are either that it's your favorite like From Software game, or it's your least favorite.
Yeah.
And I with most people leaning towards least favorite, but a lot of people do like it. So one of the big things that they tend to bring up are that the game has the most content of the three.
Okay, that sounds fair.
It comes down to question of quantity over quality, you know?
Okay.
So it's a big game. There's a lot of areas, and especially the main thing, like Dark Souls is famous for bosses. There's a lot of really hard, really famous bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls 2 has the most bosses. It has like 33 bosses. A lot of which are optional, but it has the most bosses.
Yeah.
And after having played through the game, I can very easily tell you quantity does not equal quality in this case. There were so many of those bosses that were either just really poorly designed or really fucking easy. I can't tell you the number of bosses that I beat first try. You don't beat Dark Souls bosses first try. That's not a thing that happens.
Weak.
The final boss of Dark Souls, of the first Dark Souls game, it took me 2.5 hours to beat.
Wow. Like straight?
Like I kept dying and running over and trying again, trying again,
Damn.
trying again.
Okay.
Because it was just a really hard boss.
Yeah.
The final boss of Dark Souls 2, first try.
Oh, come on.
It was terrible. It was a terrible final boss. I was shocked. I was shocked at how bad it was.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Yep. But and honestly, I went into Dark Souls 2 kind of expecting it to be bad, but I was still going into it with some positivity of this is a game I haven't played before. I've only heard other people say about it. I got to form my own opinion on this, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I went into it trying to be pretty optimistic, but I pretty quickly realized it is indeed pretty shit because just the fundamentals of it are bad too. Not just the whole boss encounters or the shitty area designs or anything like that. It on a fundamental level does not feel good to play.
Okay.
The whole thing is stiff. It feels awkward. It feels like things shouldn't happen that do. It's kind of a broken experience. And they have this really fun system. And I'll defend this. I'll defend this a little bit. Demon's Souls had a similar system to this. So it's not like Dark Souls is the first to have done this and therefore the worst because of it. But I still don't like it. Dark Souls 2 had a system, as a hard game, the worse you did, the more difficult it was for you.
Okay.
When you died in the game, your maximum health would slowly degrade.
Oh.
Until a point where you had about half of your maximum health. And the only way to bring it back up to full, and it would take a few times you'd have to die a few times to bring it all the way down. But, eventually it would hit that limit where it would stop going down. And then you'd have to use an item called a human effigy to bring your health back up to maximum. And I fucking hate systems like that. Yeah. And again, I'll say Demon's Souls did a similar thing. Demon's Souls had kind of an even more fun version of this. It was called World Tendency. Mm-hmm. Basically, your world was either on a white side or a black side. Mm-hmm. Is how it was described. And it's the more you died, the further it would approach the black side. And there were certain things you could or could not do based on which side you were on. Okay. And enemies would get more difficult and more numerous depending on how badly you did.
Oh God. Talk about a kick them while they're down situation.
It's terrible. It's a bad system in my opinion, but you could forego it. In Demon's Souls, you start out as a human form. You have a human form and a soul form. If you die in your human form, you get sent to soul form. Mm-hmm. Soul form is similar to Dark Souls 2 thing where your maximum health gets capped at a certain point. Okay. But dying doesn't affect the world tendency. Okay. So it's almost it's a risk versus a reward system where it's you can have extra health, but you run the risk of pushing your world further to black. Okay. And I kind of like that because there's an actual risk versus rewards thing for it. Yeah. Dark Souls 2 is just fuck you. No more max health.
God, that sucks. Sorry you died.
Have fun having less health this time.
Yeah, try it again with less health.
Exactly.
See how that works out for you.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. But so yeah, just on a fundamental level, the game is not good in my opinion. But yeah. I managed to beat it. Mm-hmm. And basically the entire time I was playing it, I was sitting there as soon as I beat Dark Souls 2, I can go on to everything else. Yeah. After this, Bloodborne's up next. I fucking love Bloodborne. Again, I haven't beat it, but it is what I have played is so goddamn good. Yeah. And like the main reason Dark Souls 2 was not directed by by Hidetaka Miyazaki was because he was working on Bloodborne.
Okay. Okay, that's cool.
Dark Souls 3, I beat it a bunch of times. I love that game. It's so goddamn good. Sekiro's after that. Haven't played as far into Sekiro as I have as Bloodborne, but it's also a phenomenal game. After that, I'm going to play Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls came out before everything else, but Demon's Souls got a remake when the PS5 came out.
Yeah.
So I'm playing that version. So it's like chronologically speaking, I'm playing it after everything else.
Yeah.
And then Elden Ring, which I'm sure will be fantastic because it looks amazing and it's Miyazaki. So, you know, it's almost like been like this wall hanging over me. Like if I can just get past Dark Souls 2,
yeah,
I've got everything else down the line.
Yeah.
So I finally beat Dark Souls 2 and I get to play Bloodborne starting on Thursday. And I am so excited.
Nice.
But yeah, maybe I'll give a little update on what I think of each game as I progress through it. I'll say like post having finished it, like Dark Souls 1 is actually a really good game. I kind of went into it with the same mindset as Dark Souls 2. Like I just got to get past this because the few times I had played it, I was never that big on it. It's very stiff compared to like Dark Souls 3. But I've come to think of it as like you almost can't compare Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 1 because they're just like they feel so different. And like there's strengths and weaknesses to both ways that it's done. Like Dark Souls 3 is more fluid. You have a lot more control over your character. You have a lot more like ability to, you have a lot more agency in combat. And so Dark Souls 3's response to that is giving you enemies that are just brutal. They're in your face. They don't give you space. They attack like crazy. Whereas Dark Souls 1, like you have less control. Like your character kind of moves like a tank sometimes. And like the world itself, like you have to be more mindful of your surroundings and stuff like that. Like there are areas of the game that are designed around like the environment as a challenge. There's this area called the Tomb of the Giants. It's a completely pitch black area with gigantic skeletons wandering around, and all of the walkways are extremely thin. So how you have to make it through that is like holding up a lantern as you walk, and then when you come across a skeleton, you have to fight it in the dark. And so, you know, those skeletons wouldn't be difficult if they weren't in that area specifically.
Yeah.
So Dark Souls 1 is built more around that kind of thing. So like after having completed it, I felt like Dark Souls 1 is a really good game. It's just very different from Dark Souls 3. I can't compare them anymore because they're just like different games. Yeah. But Dark Souls 2 just sucks.
Right on.
It does everything that the other two do worse than the other two. So.
Yeah. Huh. All right.
So yeah, that's my I guess my Soulsborne, my FromSoft playthrough update.
Yeah.
Beat the second game, loved the first, hated the second.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to play through Bloodborne now. I imagine I'll come out of that loving it. A lot of people count Bloodborne as their favorite of all the games, so
nice.
Maybe I will too. We'll see.
So normally this isn't something that I would bring up as a topic because on its own, it really wasn't that much of an event. But just considering like 2 weeks in a row, or maybe like 2 out of 3 weeks or something like that, we've talked about how I've been like regularly injuring myself and need to be put into a bubble.
Yeah.
So you've talked about how Luna doesn't like to have her nails trimmed.
She does not.
No, it's pretty common with most animals.
Yep.
So it was time to cut Lily's nails.
Oh boy.
She's usually pretty good with her like back legs, but the ones in the front she's got an issue with. So I'll try and get as many as I can like while she's sleeping. And so like sometimes this is like a 3-day process where like she'll fall asleep and I'll be like, oh, got one. And then she's like up and like running around. So I got to do them when I can.
Yeah, I get sneaky with it.
Yeah.
It's like a stealth game.
Right. And sometimes like if I do it quick enough, she'll wake up and look around like, what happened? What happened to me? Like I got it done before she woke up and realized that I cut it.
When I went to sleep, I had part of my body. Now I don't.
Right. So she was laying down just on the floor. And she was kind of a little bit underneath my dining table. So I got the clippers out and I was like, all right, I got this one. So I clip it. And as I clip it, she like freaks out and like jumps back, which then causes me to react and jump up. And I for sure smack back of my head on the corner of the table. And I had like, it felt like there was like a dime underneath like my skin on the back of my head for a good couple days.
Oh, ow.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Not super eventful on its own, but considering I've been injuring myself, specifically Lily related most of the time.
Yeah.
It seemed relevant.
Yeah. That dog's going to kill you. She's working on it.
She is.
She's doing it.
I know. But like we talked about before, she'd die without me. So
yeah. It's like retribution, you know?
Yeah. She didn't really think this one through very well.
She doesn't think a lot of things through very well.
No.
Like when she just stops walking, like if you didn't like baby her and take care of her, she just gets stranded there.
Oh yeah.
You know, like no way out. She's just stuck there.
Yes. She's been doing this thing. I don't know if she just wants to spend some time outside, but like, I'll take her out to go to the bathroom, and the weather's nice. So if she wants to walk and explore, like, unless it's before work or something, like I'll spend some time out there, let her walk around or whatever. She's just been like, after doing her business, she'll just like stand there and then, just like flops over and lays down outside. That's just it.
Time to sleep.
Yep.
Maybe die here.
Oh, yeah. Mac, I'm so glad that this happened to me actually just before I came over. Spam emails.
Yeah, I get a lot of those.
Yeah, we all get them, right? You ever get like the spam text message?
On a very rare occasion.
So same with me, except last week while we were recording the podcast, I got a spam text that I looked at as soon as I got out of the car, and I was like, damn, I wish I would have got this I would have noticed it while we were recording. And it's, from like a random number, and it says, my thing is now 2 inches bigger after this. I can control when I finish easily. And then just like some really shifty looking website link to click on.
I mean, this place sounds great. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So that was last week during the podcast. A couple days later, from a different number, I get, my sausage grew 2.5 inches after this. And I was like, what the fuck is this? So whatever. Today, a different number. This one says, my sausage grew 3 inches after this.
They're really trying to get you.
I know. They're
trying to like make it extra. They're trying to sweeten the deal.
Right. They're like, damn.
2 inches wasn't enough.
2 inches wasn't enough. Let's go 2.5. Nah.
Let's do 3.
Let's go 3. So I don't know. All different numbers, but I'm hoping that they just keep increasing to the point where it's like absolutely absurd.
I like to think of like the scammers writing out this text and they're sitting there like, man, 2 inches isn't enough. Like one of two things is happening here. Either this guy's penis is massive already, or it's so small that 2 inches still isn't going to cut it.
Right.
Maybe we could tell him 3 and that'll sweeten the deal.
Right. Well, I mean, we all know the answer, but we'll see if it continues. See if they'll keep trying to sweeten that pot.
I like it.
Yeah. But like, it was funny enough in the beginning, but now that it keeps happening and they keep increasing the size, I think that's pretty epic. They're trying.
You gotta give them points for effort.
Yeah, they're doing something right for sure. I got an interesting story for you.
Okay.
This is not related to anything.
Okay.
So I had this friend Rachel in high school.
Okay.
Anyway, we were good friends for like a long time, and I got invited to go to her brother's wedding. This was probably, I don't know, at least 15 years ago. Probably like 2005-ish, somewhere around there, maybe 2006. And I knew her family pretty well. So like I knew her mom Mary, and Mary's great. Her and I are Facebook friends.
She hot?
She looks like a mom. I mean,
listen, that acronym exists for a reason. That doesn't really clear up my answer.
I mean, do you want to rate her? I can pull up a picture. So anyway, so at the wedding, right? she's like, she's handing out, she's at the
Condoms.
Yes. That's it. Actually, I'm glad you brought up condoms because I think that's the answer we overlooked to the astronaut jerk off.
Like just slapping a condom over. I guess that. Yeah, I guess that would work.
It was way simpler than we tried to make it out to be. Like,
I suppose that would work.
Yeah. When I listened to the podcast yesterday, I was like, oh, I guess a condom would probably just do the same thing. Okay, but anyway, Rachel's mom, Mary, she's standing at the cake table handing out slices of cake.
Yeah, she is.
Hell yeah. So I go up to get some cake from Mary, right? And she goes to give me a hug. And
a hug and some cake?
Yeah. So I give her a hug, and like in the process, we do that whole thing where like you and somebody else are coming at each other and you guys kind of like can't figure out which way the person's going to go. So like you both dance like left and right.
See, Mike, I don't have that problem because if people go to my right, they get a lot of hair in their face.
Okay.
So that gets sorted out for me on its own.
Okay. All right. Well, but you know that situation.
I suppose. Yeah, it's been a long time, but
okay. So anyway, like I go to give her a hug and we like kind of do that little maneuver and she goes to like give me a kiss on the cheek, except while we're like figuring out which direction we're going to go, we just ended up kissing each other. And so now that story is referred to as the time that I open mouth kissed Mary.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair,
while she was handing you some cake.
Yeah, I didn't actually open mouth kiss her, but it's way funnier if you say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, yep. I open mouth kissed my friend's mom. That was
epic.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to pull up a picture of Mary so you can rate her. There she is.
Yeah, that's a mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, she's very mom-like. Yeah. Very nice lady. But yeah, you know, I got nothing else to rate on her other than she's awesome.
How was the cake?
Fine. I mean, not as good as the kiss, but I'd have taken a second kiss over that one piece of cake, but you win some, you lose some.
Nice.
Yeah. She was always like the cool mom. She like had us all refer to her as Mary, like in high school, because she didn't want us to call her like Mrs. her last name, because she's like, that's my mother-in-law. That's not me. You got to call me Mary. So classic Mary, just always kissing me at weddings.
She do be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens.
It do kind of be like that.
Yeah. Have you ever kissed any of your friends' moms?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I figured you probably didn't, but you know,
I had to think about it for a second, but no, I very much doubt it.
Not even like Austin's mom.
I should be so lucky.
Austin, send us a picture of your mom.
He will never do that.
Oh damn.
Austin, send us a picture of your mom or your pussy,
or your dad. We'll rate your dad. We'll rate them all. Oh, moms, dads.
I opened up some Pokemon cards on stream this past week too.
Yeah, I actually caught that for a second. I
know you were in there for a hot sec.
Yeah, that one I didn't stay in very long for that one, but
I've never I collected, or I had, at least, I don't know if I would say I collected. I had Pokemon cards when I was a kid, but I've never like known how to play the game. I've never tried collecting the cards. But being that I've been doing these Magic card opening streams, thought it'd be fun to like pick up some Pokemon cards and try some of those.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and it was fun. It was interesting. The Pokemon trading cards are interesting when you think about it, because like with Magic, there's essentially like an infinite number of Magic cards that can exist.
Okay.
Because they just like, they invent new parts of the lore, they invent new parts of the world, and they create cards based around that.
Okay.
But with Pokemon, the cards are all based off of Pokemon, which until a new generation of Pokemon comes out, there's a finite number of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, like to see that like Pokemon is such a popular card game. When to me, I was always kind of like, it's a pretty limited number of these like cards that can exist.
Yeah.
Until they start just making, the same Pokemon but with different moves, which is what they do.
Okay.
But people love it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was opening up these cards, and like the pack that I bought had like a guide to like how to play the game and whatnot. So I was like trying to read through it, trying to understand how the game works. And like the whole time I've kind of thought of Pokemon as like pretty much like a ripoff of Magic. That's how everyone thinks of it.
Okay.
Because the way that Magic works, this will just be like a quick and dirty explanation.
Sure.
There are several different kinds of cards in your deck. You have lands and spells. Lands are more commonly referred to as mana, and it's a lot like Dungeons and Dragons or any video game where you use mana to cast your spells.
Okay.
If a card has like 2 fire symbols in the top right corner, that means it takes 2 red mana to cast.
Okay.
Pokemon does energy and Pokemon types. So, you have like, I think it's like 9 different types of Pokemon. There's like electric type Pokemon, grass types, dragon types, whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's an energy associated with each one, and it's essentially the same. You put out an energy. And like I always thought it was similar to Magic, where like you use those energies to like put out your Pokemon, and then you use the energies to like attack. But the thing I started to get confused on was like, how does attacking and blocking work? How does all this work? And so I started reading through the rules, and I was like, okay, what does each part of the card mean? And it was like, okay, so this is its HP, this is its resistances, this is the amount of what? I just immediately got super confused.
Yeah.
And I tried to like figure out as I went. It turns out it's like way more complex. It's like you have like a party of like 6 Pokemon, and like one of them is your active Pokemon, and then you have 5 on the bench.
Yeah.
And your goal in the game, the goal in Magic is just like each player has 20 life points. You just try to take out their life.
Okay.
In Magic, you have 6 prize cards, and you win either when you get all of your prize cards, or when the other player either runs out of cards or runs out of Pokemon on their bench and in their active. And so like you gotta like battle your Pokemon, and like you can't swap them out freely. And then like if you like with Pokemon evolution, it works in the game. Like you use a Pokemon until it gains enough experience to evolve. And so they have a whole evolving mechanic where like you have to like get like a basic Pokemon out on the field first. And then like if you have the basic Pokemon, you have the evolved version in your hand, you can evolve it to make it stronger. And I'm sitting there like, this is a card game. Like you're relying on like random drawings of the cards to like happen to get the one evolve you need.
Yeah.
So like how does that work? And I'm like, it's so confusing. Maybe I'm too old to understand card games anymore, but what's really fucking confusing is Yu-Gi-Oh! How the shit does that work?
I don't know.
I
couldn't even tell you.
I don't know either.
No.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is super weird, but yeah. So it was fun opening Pokemon cards though, because I do like Pokemon games, but there's a lot of Pokemon I don't really know. So it was like, oh, this is a Pokemon I like. What the fuck is this thing?
Yeah, I know. When I was in there for a while, you kind of brought it up, but like debated like eating a Pokemon.
I brought it up. Which Pokemon did I bring that up on?
It was some sort of like weird dolphin sea creature looking thing.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
But I kind of mentioned it offhandedly, and Microwave was like insistent that like Pokemon don't get eaten. And I was like, no, there's a bull Pokemon. You're telling me they've never tried to eat that motherfucker? Oh
yeah.
There's and like worse, there's like there's several Pokemon that are like based off of desserts. There's like a cream puff Pokemon.
Yeah. I was in the stream.
Oh yes, you saw that one. There's like a cream puff Pokemon. There's like a cake Pokemon. There's like several tiers of ice cream Pokemon. It's like no one's tried to eat that thing. Fucking untrue. Someone has tried.
Right, because I want to say, is there one that's like a strawberry? Maybe it's strawberry.
Like a that's right. The one that the one that like started the whole conversation. It's a fruit Pokemon. It looks like a fruit.
Yeah. And you were like, is it fruit or is it meat?
Right. Like, that's right. I posed the question of whether or not it's vegetarian to eat it because it's a fruit Pokemon.
A plant-based Pokemon.
Yeah.
My diet consists mainly of plant-based Pokemon.
I mean, there's a type of there's grass type Pokemon, and some of them are literally like plants. There's like a Bellsprout, which is literally like a bell plant, and like his arms are like little twigs. Like, does that thing have meat or is it all plant? And if it's all plant, can you eat its leaves? is that vegetarian.
Right. Huh. Interesting. It's fun to take a listen to it that way.
It's a fascinating conversation because they're not addressing it in the games or in the show.
They really need to.
It's a kid show. They're not going to talk about it, but God damn it, I want answers.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Are they out there eating Tauros? Are they out there drinking Militank milk?
Right? Who knows? These are the answers that need to be figured out.
And then the secondary question is what is the tastiest Pokemon? I think it's probably the cake Pokemon. Like the Tauros could be pretty good too. That's one that's based off a bowl.
Yeah, a nice fatty steak coming off of that guy.
Yeah,
rather than like a dessert. It just kind of just depends.
Depends on your preference. I'm a big sweets guy, so the cake is probably it for me. But I'm also a big meats guy, so Tauros could be pretty good too.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah. Well, you never know. How we like to tell the story when talking just between each other about when our boy Bradley first started working at World Market.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there was something I did and you and I can't remember.
I wish I could remember this. I wish, because as soon as he said this, Mike did something that Bradley really confounded him.
Yeah,
he couldn't understand the motivation behind it, and I wish, and what he said afterwards struck me as so funny that I had to tell Mike about it, and it's been a running joke ever since. But I have no idea what triggered this reaction, and I wish I did, because Bradley just goes, "Why would Mike do that?"
I don't know why he would do something like that, and now it's funny now partly because we don't remember what it is.
Oh, I have no idea.
But I really wish I do. Well, I've got another situation that's kind of like that. And it got brought up when I went to go hang out with Ken and Amy. And this is going back probably 4 or 5 years. So I had a tailgate party at my place, and Ken and Amy came by. And they stayed pretty late, and I think everybody else had left. And it was Ken and Amy and my ex Amy and myself. And I think it was just the four of us. And we had been tailgating all day. We had a decent amount to drink, and now nobody can remember the reason for this. But apparently, at some point, I just stare at Ken's Amy, and she's real tall.
Oh yeah,
I think she's 5'10" or 5'11", something like that. I
think she's taller than me. I don't know.
Okay, she's around your.
She's tall.
Yeah, she's tall. She's really tall. She's considerably taller than me. So she's yeah. Remember the time you just stared at my chest and go, "Hey, Amy, thanks for throwing me under the fucking bus." What? And all of us have been laughing about this for years, and none of us know what I was referring to. And then I didn't remember this part, but she brought up, she was yeah, you did it again when we were trying to leave. She's I had just been ill in your bathroom and was trying to leave so we could go home, and you stopped me and again go, "Yeah, Amy, thanks for throwing me under the fucking bus."
You got a real drunk mad going on.
Yeah. But I don't know. None of us know what the hell it is, but we all think it's super fucking funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's that same kind of it's funny because of what it is, but it would probably be way funnier if we actually knew.
See, part of me feels like it would be less funny. Maybe not at the time when it was originally brought up, but now that this joke has been going for a few years, knowing the original context of it would almost ruin the joke.
Oh, it's like Schrodinger's prank.
Yeah.
If you found out right away, it would have killed it. It was great that it went on for as long as it did.
Yeah, it's better not to know at this point because we can just apply it to anything.
Yeah, just start making up stuff.
But on the subject of height again,
yeah.
I asked the girl I work with how tall she is.
The tiny little freak.
Yes,
the one that scares you and is trying to kill you.
I described her as a little goblin person in our description.
Okay.
Of one of the episodes. She's 5'1".
Okay.
So that's like, you know, compared to your mom, not so short, but that's almost a foot shorter than me.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's pretty short.
That's still 5 inches shorter than me, and I'm not tall. So
right.
It's
a very small person.
That is a very small person. Yeah. Has she tried to kill you recently?
Oh, well, yes.
Again?
Actually, I think she's poisoning me. Like,
oh, really?
On the subject of like bodily harm, my body's just like collapsing. Like for the past like week and a half, my back's been in pain. My knee hurts like an old man when I like try to bend it.
Oh, damn.
My neck had like a pain in the side for like several days that only recently went away.
Oh,
I think she's getting some fucking poison in my system. I don't know.
I mean, you did have a birthday like a couple months back. Like you are getting older.
I know.
Your body's just starting to like decay.
Yeah. But because of this whole new coronavirus Delta variant bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm now having to wear a mask at work again. And so she does this thing where she wears a hoodie and she like puts it over her head and like pulls the drawstrings and she's wearing the mask, which is also black at the same time. And so I looked at her and I was like, you look like a fucking ninja today.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yeah, I'm trying to be more stealthy so I can kill you. And I was like, fuck, it's working.
Yeah. Damn. She's really after you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
who knows how many more episodes of this podcast I've got in me, you know?
Right.
Before long, I'll just be dead.
Yeah. We're up to what? This is 30?
This is 30. We're a big 3-0.
Damn. 30. I like it. Solid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ken and Amy are still listening.
That's pretty pog.
Yeah.
So have they mentioned anything recently about where they're at?
They didn't, well, it was just Amy because Ken doesn't fucking talk to me. Amy said that they listened to the one that came out yesterday because, I told them that we told the story about the resolution. But she didn't say anything if they had listened to any others in between. So
it's interesting that they went straight to the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like you either go from the beginning and work to present or work backwards.
I always work backwards. Because especially with like podcast stuff, like a lot of podcasts you listen to, they talk about current events and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just like, especially with like, speaking as someone who like, you know, has grown a lot creatively, it feels weird to start at the beginning of anything anymore, where it's like, you're going to like where they are at their most amateur.
Right.
And you can feel it. Like, I mean, we've talked before. I don't remember if we talked on the podcast at all, but you and I have talked to each other about how like we felt like the podcast has improved since we've started.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I see that in podcasts that I listen to. Like when I find a podcast that I like, you know, I listen to the new episodes that come out, but I always start at the top and work my way to the bottom. And you can feel when you get to like episode 1 how like very different it is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
But I guess like we don't have like 100+ episodes out yet, so maybe it's less of a big deal.
Right. And I mean, you know, there's episodes on both sides of the spectrum. Like there were early episodes that we did that were fucking great. And then there were like episodes later on that were just like, it's kind of boring. We didn't have a great dialogue for, you know, a week or whatever.
Right.
So there's ones in between, but yeah, overall, I would say, yeah, the consistency of quality has improved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although people do really like the sleepover first episode.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. But yeah, that was one of the only episodes where we really had like pretty much just one topic for the whole kind of episode.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I guess I don't know. It depends on the episode, because we definitely had episodes that like, it wasn't the entire episode, but there was episodes where we like talked about a certain thing for a really long period of time. Like, our debate over bad and boring movies, and
yeah, that crossed over a couple episodes.
Yeah, and then like video games as sports, and
right. So yeah, I gotcha.
But generally speaking, we don't have something that even if we start a discussion about it, it usually isn't a discussion that can last for an hour and 10 minutes.
Right. Right before I was over here, I ran into
Joe.
Yes. Okay.
That was the end of the story.
Yep, that was the end of the story. No, I was the grocery store for work, and I ran into our old World Market gourmet head, Terry.
Oh, Terry's great.
Yeah. I was getting ready to head out, and I was like walking past, and I just hear Mike. And, obviously I have to turn around, but there's so many of us, I didn't recognize the voice. So I was like, I don't even know if it's me, but sure enough, there was our girl Terry. And so I got to stop and talk to her for a little bit.
Oh, Terry's great.
Yeah.
She's a really fun person to work with.
Yeah. I love her. She cool. Did you see that there was an air show around here over the weekend?
I did not. My coworker mentioned that they were flying right over where she lives.
Yeah. I got some really, really good photos and videos, just chilling on my balcony.
Nice.
The Blue Angels flew over in formation, right overhead to the point where I couldn't hear anything.
Nice.
It was sweet.
That's pretty cool. I used to go to a lot of those air shows and stuff when I was a kid.
Oh, nice.
Because my dad's an air traffic controller. He's all into airplanes and shit. So
yeah,
used to go to a lot of those kinds of things, and they were really cool. There's a certain atmosphere around air shows where you walk in and there's this big crowd, and you can almost feel the excitement in the air.
Yeah,
and it is really cool hearing a sonic boom. It's insane,
right? The actual area where it was taking place. I mean, it's close to where I live, but I mean, it's got to be over a mile. When you actually think about it, it's across a highway, and then there's a bunch of other stuff in between. So it's close, but it's not that close. But I could see the plane. I could see the jets across the highway, and they were so loud my apartment was vibrating.
They're insane.
Yeah, it's pretty epic, pretty dope, pretty poggers. Gross. What do you say, man?
My coworker, I've been
all right, go ahead.
I've been burping a lot in her general direction.
The short one?
No. A coworker named Megan. She works in the same department as me.
Okay.
And it really bothers her, but that's exactly what makes it so funny, because she'll stop me to ask me something, and I'll turn around actively burping as I turn.
Yeah.
And she immediately all emotion drains from her face, and she just gives me this look
really?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
And so she was my boss was nearby, and she was like, Mack keeps burping in my face, and he kind of looked over at her and then also burped.
Nice. Hell yeah. Now that's
I can't escape this.
Now that's funny that he tacked onto it.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, we got that kind of just always making fun of each other kind of, workplace harassment policy.
Just busting some balls.
Busting some balls with the boys.
Yeah. I can bust some balls here and there.
I can bust some balls.
Right on.
Should we talk about that guy?
Yeah, let's talk about him. What was his name?
I joke about him a lot in private.
Was his name Josh?
Josh, that's it. You always I always think Justin or Joel, and then you say Josh, and I'm like, yep, it was Josh. It was definitely Josh.
For sure. So we had hired this guy at World Market. This was this the last, right before we left? Was it that last?
No, because Tom wasn't working there yet.
Okay.
It was right before or something. Yeah, it was right before Tom started working there.
Okay, so it was maybe a year before we left. We hired this guy, and he seemed all right in the beginning.
Yeah.
He had a previous job where he was running a tea shop or something.
Yeah, he had a couple odd jobs, but they were all retail related. So it was, it was experience in the retail world.
Yeah, and we sold tea, so he had even experience with some of that product. Well, we tried to get to know him you do with a new coworker, and
especially because we had hired him. He started out in a stocking position, but he had always been hired to be our gourmet head.
Yeah.
And, especially with some of our part-timers, especially around the holidays, maybe we we didn't try so hard to get to know them, because at the end of the day, a lot of them weren't going to work there anymore.
Yeah, it's like in 3 weeks you're going to be gone. So
right,
I don't care to get to know you.
But with the full-time people, it was like, this is someone I'm going to see on like a daily basis. Let's get to know this person.
Yeah.
So obviously that was our goal with Josh.
Yeah, so we started talking to him, and I don't know, one of us probably made some sort of joke or something, and we're like, yeah, you know, we have a good time around here. We just kind of like to bust each other's balls. And what did he say?
It was right on. I can bust some balls.
Yeah, right on. And
like the thing that we're doing that you can't see because this is an audio podcast, but he had this interesting quirk of like when he spoke, he would like move his head back and forth really rapidly.
Yeah, like one of those little those birds.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say he's a bird. I would say he looks like a bird when he talks.
Yes,
he'd be like right on. He'd be like shaking his head back and forth really fast. And so like that became a running joke between me and Mike, just be like, I can bust some balls.
Yeah, right on.
So, you know, this guy seemed really chill when we first met him, you know, like seemed like a good guy.
Yeah, until it was time for like our holiday like all-store meeting where we were going over, you know, what it was going to be like, everything coming up for like the Christmas season and
like around the holidays, you have a lot of new hires because especially like we hire people specifically for seasonal. And that's what I meant when by a lot of people weren't going to work there anymore. Like either they just were flaky or, you know, come January, a lot of them would get laid off because like they were hired as seasonal.
Yeah. You can only keep so many when it's like slow season.
Yeah. Because you have to imagine like World of Market. World Market was like a gift shop essentially in a lot of aspects. You know, we had certain busier seasons, like, you know, we'd get busy around the time that like college started because these college kids would come in and they need furniture for their places and their rich parents would be buying them, you know, shitty shit that looks like it's better than it is.
Right.
And so like World Market made like, I don't know, it's some absurd number, like 30 to 40% of all their money in the last 2 months of the year.
Yeah. That's pretty common with a lot of retail, but I know for sure it was something like that.
Yeah. So we hired a lot of extra help. And so like these all-store meetings during holiday time were important because we had a lot of people who were really inexperienced. And so we'd go over like pretty basic stuff and we'd take a lot of pretty basic questions.
Right.
Especially, we had this guy working for us. We should talk about this guy at some point. Maybe today as well.
Okay.
His name was Daniel.
Oh, Daniel.
Daniel was an interesting character.
I love that dude.
He was a very nice kid.
Very nice.
But he had some odd quirks.
Yeah.
To say the least. He was clearly pretty socially anxious, which I can understand that.
Yeah.
But he just kind of was awkward to talk to.
Yes.
And
to say the least.
And I feel like he lacked some social awareness, which led to him having some interesting questions to ask.
Yeah.
And I remember like one of the questions he asked was like, oh, what if a customer like tries to steal something? What if they like take something and go for the door? Do we have to chase after them? Do like I tackle them?
Like, and that's so funny because that's like, those are the exact things that they specifically told us not to do.
It's like, no, don't do anything. It's fine. You know,
but like it's not coming out of your pocket. Like the company's just going to eat the costs. Like just let them go. It's not that big of a deal.
And like, they don't want you to get hurt and have a lawsuit or something.
Right.
So it was like, just leave it be. But like, and you know, we were just kind of like, you know, whatever. He's new to this world. He was a younger guy. He was younger than me.
Yeah.
He hadn't worked a job like that before. He was seasonal. Like we were like, this is just a weird question, but you know, I feel like at this point it's pretty common knowledge that retail employees do not chase after people.
Yeah.
But some people still don't know. So no big deal.
Yeah.
Josh was not having it.
No, I don't remember what he said in relation to that question.
It was like a culmination of like Daniel asked more questions along those lines, and then there was a few other questions that were like that.
And the thing that I remember was like him complaining in general about being at that meeting.
Yes,
and like just sitting there being like, this is so fucking ridiculous. Why am I at this fucking meeting? But I don't remember what he said in relation to that question. Do you have something specific?
No, I don't think he said anything in relation to that. I think he generally, like, he was muttering, so you couldn't really hear him, but he generally made it obvious to everyone who saw him that he thought that was a stupid question.
Yeah.
Which was really rude, first of all.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's like, these, you know, no one really needs to be here. You know,
Right.
This is something we all have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. None of us want to be here.
And being a dick about it isn't going to help anybody.
Yeah.
So he just had a really bad attitude throughout that entire meeting. And it just kept going from there. Like,
yeah. Was that like his last day? Did he just like up and quit after the meeting?
No, he was around for a bit after that.
Okay.
That I feel like that was the hint of, you know, the coming storm, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so like we were still, despite the fact that we were in season and we'd hired a bunch of people, we were still pretty understaffed around that time. And so, you know, there's our gourmet head, but he was like still training to be in that position.
Yeah.
And specifically because we needed help on a much, you know, simpler surface job, like we were having him work and do stock shifts.
Yeah.
You know, coming in at 5 a.m. and stocking shelves.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a fan of that.
No, he was not.
He's not a fan. He put up with it for a while, but eventually he started complaining pretty openly in front of like our other stock people. Like, I'm not a fucking stock boy. And specifically bringing up that like he had like, I don't know, a fucking bachelor's degree or something like that. He's like, I didn't go to school so I could be a fucking stock boy.
Yeah, well, and the other funny thing about that too is it's not like the gourmet head position was going to pay him all that much more to where he would have been like, oh, this is worth using my college degree on.
And especially like speaking, like I used to be the gourmet head before I worked as the furniture head at our store.
Right.
And like, it wouldn't have been much better. It's a very menial job.
Yeah.
A lot of the gourmet head's job is fucking, you get a list of shit every week. It's like, here's the stuff you have to check to see if it's going to expire today.
Yeah.
And you spend a half of your day going and checking every item on the shelf to be like, is this expired? Nope. Cool.
Right.
It sucks. But you know, there wasn't really anything particularly advanced about the gourmet head position.
No.
You know, you'd handled resets in that department pretty much single-handedly, and you did the expiration shit. That was basically the entire job.
Yeah, and I remember with expiration, like, I don't remember if it was like this when you were gourmet head, but with a few of our others, it was like a struggle to see if they could complete it by the time the next week's expiration list started.
That was an issue for me because I'm awesome, but
Right.
I could definitely see it being an issue.
Yeah,
because like I did it in like a really efficient way.
Mm-hmm.
I would look at the list and I'd be like, okay. And it helped that like this was essentially the kind of thing that our district manager Jeff was like encouraging, because you remember we had a percentage that we were trying to meet every week. We had, when we found product that was going to expire within like a couple weeks, we put a sticker on it that gave you 55% off of it.
Yeah.
And so every week you get a report that said like, it gave you a percentage on like how much of those products you sold at 55% off versus like ending up spoiling out and throwing away.
Yeah.
And so our district manager had this big push to like just, to bring up those numbers. And the way that he suggested doing that was just like going beyond those 2 weeks. He was like, if it's going to expire within a month, put it on there.
Yeah. Cause it's better to get, you know, like 45% of the original price than nothing.
Right.
So yeah.
So the way that I did it was really efficient in the sense that like I had a pretty good memory for like things that I checked before. So I would look at the list every week, and I you know, especially at the beginning of the week or the beginning of a month, I'd look and I'd see like, okay, let me go check on this item. I'd check it and I'd pull everything that was going to expire within like a month and a half or so.
Mm-hmm.
Put the sticker on it, put it over on the clearance section. And then like the next day or the next week, whenever that item popped up again, I just remember like, I already checked that.
Yeah.
I'd move on.
Mm-hmm.
So I got through the list a lot faster by just not doing the entire job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, that's all to say, like Josh didn't have a lot coming in his future.
Right.
And he was being a real dick about this like stock shit.
Yeah. God, how many, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure you did this, but I can't tell you how many times I like was going to buy something and I was like, oh damn, it's like $6. And I was like, well, putting a 55 on it.
I don't remember if I'd ever did that. I might have.
I didn't do it all the time. Cause usually I would like search the 55s first and then just buy something off of there. But, if there was something like new that I wanted to try that wasn't on there, sometimes I just slap a 55er on it.
Nice.
Oh, go ahead.
And You know what I was thinking about the other day that I feel like I need to pop into World Market and try because I got a bit of a craving.
What?
I haven't had a Happy Hippo in a while.
Okay, Happy Hippo's fantastic.
Fucking poggers. My Germans out there.
Yeah, those Kinder Happy Hippos.
Oh my God, they're so good.
This last year for Christmas, I got a box of Happy Hippos. And also a jar of Biscoff spread.
Oh.
And I dunked the Happy Hippo into the Biscoff spread. And I felt like I was crossing the streams like in Ghostbusters and just like the world
Doing
was
something forbidden.
Yeah, like the world was just going to come to an end.
But you had to do it.
And it was fantastic, as you can imagine.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And I just thought about this now. Could you imagine putting a Biscoff spread in between a couple of Nyackers and making like a cookie sandwich?
That'd pretty fucking good too.
Oh, damn.
Damn, we got some ideas. I'm gonna have to stock up at Roma. I still got a fucking 10 of Nyackers over there. I've been eating them really slowly, so
hell yeah.
I don't even gotta buy those. I just gotta get that cookie butter.
Hell yeah. Since we were talking about the holiday meetings, I've had a note written down for a story that I wanted to bring up for a while about one of those meetings, and it just never seemed like there was an appropriate time. But since we've already talked about these,
D's
nuts. Oh, by the way, I'm glad you brought that up. I told you how there's that like deli meat company called Dietz and Watson, and they make a snack product called Dietz Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a pretty large like apparel shop on their website. And I ordered up a hoodie that's like their logo and it says Dietz Nuts.
Nice.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. It actually just came yesterday.
Nice. Pretty good quality.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Sick.
Yeah, I mean, it was like $35 for a hoodie, so like
not that bad.
Yeah, and it's actually like sewn on. So
awesome. It's like embroidered.
Yeah. It's not even embroidered. It's like each letter is like cloth and then it's like stitched around.
Oh, one of those. Gotcha.
So it's actually, I would say it's actually even better than like embroidered. But yeah, that's cool. But Dietz Nuts. So at Dietz meetings, like all the employees and, like stock associates, they would be kind of the audience for the meeting.
Yeah.
And then like the GM and all the supervisors and usually like department heads would stand up and we would be like the presenters.
Yeah.
And we'd all have our own little roles to talk about. Well, I don't know. You actually may have been the gourmet head at the time, but Carissa had asked like some of us to pick out like certain products from each department that are like big sellers or that you really liked or whatever to educate all those like brand new associates.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll side note for just a second. There was an ongoing joke that Ken and I were like secret lovers.
Yeah. This is a long running joke.
Yeah, that had been going on for a long time. And I don't know if you picked him out or if like whoever the gourmet head was picked him out just because like they would fly off the shelf all the time. But we had this product called Twiglets.
Yeah.
Well, whoever picked it out like held up the bag and they were talking about these Twiglets. I just lean over to Carissa and whisper, "That's what I call Ken." And she just like fucking lost it. She's like, "This is the middle of the meeting." Which was weird because she was like the least professional person ever. But
oh, totally.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Oh, that is funny. I don't think that was me.
It probably wasn't, but you were definitely around at World Market at that point.
I wasn't. No, I was gourmet head for a long time. It was POS coordinator that I wasn't for very long.
Yeah.
I was only POS coordinator for like 6 months.
Yeah. That wasn't a great position.
I didn't mind it. I actually preferred it over furniture head. I really did not like being home department head. The only like upside of it was like you got keys and extra pay.
Yeah.
And got to tell people to fuck off.
It
by
was,
that I mean you had to tell them what to do.
It was fun if you got to build furniture.
But I really didn't get a lot of chances to do that.
No, you didn't.
Even though I needed to because Tom would sell my fucking floor models.
God, for like next to nothing.
Yeah,
it's a customer service issue. CSI.
No, well, one of the most frustrating things about being in that position was that I was like just I was doing the job of a supervisor more or less. Like Gourmet had as like the priorities we listed out. They have much more like strict like these are the things that a Gourmet head does. Mm-hmm. With the home head, it was like you got to like build furniture, be like the expert on furniture, and like answer questions and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And like just keep the department clean. And I did a really good job of that. But like, other than that, like your job is basically like just do what the supervisors do. You know, do sets, to do the cash shit, do badge stuff, manage breaks, whatever the fuck else.
Yeah.
And so it was this really shitty situation where it was like, I'm a small person. I don't like lifting furniture. And yet I was like, I was doing trucks for a long time because it was like, oh, you're the home head. And, you know, I don't even remember what the fucking motivation was. It was just like, oh, well, you know, furniture comes off the truck, so you do it too.
Yeah. And real quick, to put this in perspective for those people who didn't work there and didn't do a truck, taking a truck was roughly the equivalent of like when you move.
Yeah. So I should put this in perspective for anybody who has done trucks in the past and isn't thinking maybe they're not that bad. World Market, especially our store, was really bad. You think of like, you know, the store I work at now, most stores, you have like a loading dock.
Yeah.
Where
usually
where like a truck will back up to a spot where like the ground is like caved in so that the truck is like the like where the truck opens is in line with the ground.
Yeah.
Then you take like either a forklift or you take a pallet jack. You drive it onto the truck, you get the pallet, and you drive it off onto like the storeroom.
Yeah.
World Market had no such thing.
No, we did not have a dock.
So we would have someone stand in the truck, take a pallet jack, maneuver pallets to the end of the truck. Then someone would take a forklift, lift it down, and a third person inside the stockroom would then take the pallet jack and maneuver it into the stockroom.
Yeah.
And then you reach the end of the pallets, and they had just random assorted boxes kind of all tossed in there.
Yeah, the pallets actually weren't that bad.
No, the pallets weren't that bad.
They
were
fine.
Worse than other stores because we didn't have like that convenience of being able to just like get on there. But the forklift made it easier, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
The problem was, you know, while still not having like a level access to the truck, you had a fucking couch.
Right.
That was 6 feet off the ground.
Right.
That you have to like maneuver off of the truck and then move into the stockroom.
Yeah.
And so the thing that like you did for a long time as doing trucks was, you know, you just kind of tip it off the truck and like walking into the stockroom.
Yeah.
And I'm going to blast our boy Bradley for a second. Because this was the nightmare of my life for like a significant period of my time there.
I know where you're going with this, but I want to hear this.
He had this fantastic idea taken from the last store he worked at. What we would do is we would load empty pallets onto the truck. Then the people inside the truck would load the furniture onto the empty pallets. And then you would take the forklift, drop it down onto the ground, and someone maneuver it into the stockroom from there. So you'd have a bunch of like pallets stacked up of random assorted furniture. And then it was my job as the home department head to then organize all of the furniture single-handedly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was way better when you had like 3 people and you'd take like one piece of furniture out, you'd put it away where it needs to go, and you'd go get another one.
And you just go get another one. This was just like adding an extra step for the sake of ease of not having to like unload it off the truck. But then like, you know, for everybody else, it was great. Like Bradley would go do his truck paperwork. All the stock people would start stocking. And I'd just be left there with like 8 pallets of 300-pound furniture. And my 120-pound ass was just going to organize it all away by myself.
Right. Oh,
It was a fucking nightmare. And so eventually, like, Tom, our general manager, like, did a truck with us. And he did one truck and he was like, we're not doing this anymore.
oh, that's great.
And he was like, we're just going to go back to doing it the old way because this is not efficient at all.
No, it really wasn't. I love you, Bradley, but that was not.
That was terrible.
That was not a good idea.
I hated that.
The other thing that was horrible trying to take off of the truck, like even doing it like the way where we'd take one piece off at a time, couches were bad, but the tops of dining tables.
That was terrible.
Because, picture the top of like a full size like dining room table.
Yeah.
Just in a box, and it's heavy because they're wood. And it's like a big, flat, thin box. And, you're trying to like balance it on a dolly, and it's like a sail, and we're outside in the elements, and like the wind's blowing, and you're trying not to like.
Yeah, winter was awesome during truck season.
Oh, yeah. Trying to do this
doing trucks
in like 6 inches of snow.
Yeah. Yeah. Where a dolly definitely has traction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially dollies like ours that didn't have tires.
Right. Oh, I did used to do some donuts and drift with the high-low in the snow. That was kind of fun.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. That was a great time.
But anyway, all that's to say, like, I'm doing these trucks. I'm opening and closing the store. Like I'm managing people, managing breaks, doing all the jobs of a supervisor while maintaining my own department. And getting paid less than one. So I didn't love that job.
And Mac, what was the reason that you kept that job and you did not become a supervisor?
Which reason? Oh, okay. So
you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. So my goal, I wanted to be a logistics supervisor. Logistics supervisor was a position that, managed trucks. So Bradley was a logistics supervisor for a while, and then he got moved off of it onto fucking operations, whatever it was called. I forget what it was called. And so we had this open logistics supervisor position, and that's the job that I wanted because I hate customers.
Yeah,
I really do. And so if I was logistics supervisor, 3 days a week, I would be coming in at 5 a.m. to do trucks or stock. So that'd be, 15 hours out of my 40-hour week where I wouldn't have to deal with customers.
Right.
So that's what I wanted. Also, I was really good at that kind of thing. I'm an extremely organized person. I'm a very organization-focused person. I have been for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, if someone asked me to like organize the stock room, I would do it and it would look fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so like as a logistics supervisor, it's like that's a pretty big part of your job is like making sure the stock room is organized.
Yeah.
So, I knew I'd be great in a position like that. And the reason that I was told that I couldn't go into that position is because I was too good for it. I was too damn good for it. Like I'm too good with customers. I'm too great at visuals on the floor. Like I'm too good to have my potential wasted in the stock room.
They go, you're too valuable in your current position to be promoted into a position with more responsibility.
Right. And I love Tom. I love our old boss. He's a great guy.
Love him. Love the guy.
He honestly, he was very supportive in a lot of ways when it came to my job and my position. And he really saw a lot in me.
Yeah.
Which is reflected in that response. That was not a response from him in trying to make me feel better about not getting the position.
Right.
That was his legitimate feeling. He thought I was better than that.
Yeah.
But the thing that he said was that position is a dead end position. You don't really go up from logistics.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there I don't want to go up. The only job up from logistics supervisor was a general manager. I did not want to be a general manager.
Right.
Not at all.
Right. You're the next step after that is a new job.
Yeah. So I was sitting there okay, so I'm telling you, this is the job that I want. And I'm being told I'm too good for that because I have so much room to go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was not too super long after that was when I started looking for other jobs.
Yeah. One more thing. Our girl Carissa got a hold of me over the weekend.
Oh, really? Why didn't you bring this up sooner?
Because I completely forgot about it.
Shit.
Honestly. So I wasn't on the phone. I think I was just I don't know, whatever, playing around on some app or something. And I heard like a weird noise, and I was like, that's a weird notification. And she was calling me through like Facebook Messenger, but it only rang like one time and then it stopped. And then immediately after that, I get a random phone call from
a random number,
from an unsaved like Minnesota phone number. And I was like, well, that's fucking Carissa. So I answer it, and we talk for a little bit, and we were talking a decent amount, like, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes. And all of a sudden she goes, hey, I'm in the car. Can I call you back when I get home? And I go, yeah, that's fine. And she's like,
she called you.
She was like, I'm in the car. I pulled over to the side of the road to talk to you. And a couple guys just came up to my car and asked if I'm okay and want to know what I'm doing. She's like, so I gotta go.
Oh, boy.
But like, so fucking Carissa.
That's such a Carissa move.
Yeah. And apparently she like called up to World Market because she wanted to talk to Tim. And Bradley answered the phone, and she was like, oh, hey, this is Carissa. Can you just say that I called and leave this number for Tim? And Bradley was like, are you like the Carissa? And she was like, yeah. Yeah. And he was like, congratulations on your engagement. And she was like, what? And he's like, oh, Mike told me.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. So she told me that she had called up. And while I was on the phone with her, Bradley sent me a text to let me know that she had called. So that was kind of funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
This podcast sucks.